everybody, Gina DeLuca here. I am in my new place. The lighting is very weird. It's going to take me a bit to get that worked out. The lighting in the house is not enough for filming, and I have 2 studio lights, but only 1 power source. So that's why this big shadow here. Once I get another power cord, I will have light coming from both directions and there won't be so much shadow. But hopefully this will still be enough to let y'all see what's happening. So the colors that we are using today, this is going to be a straight pour, and the colors I have are Liquitex Basics in Unbleached Titanium, DecoArt Americana Decor Matte Metallics in Aged Bronze, and in the charcoal. It's kind of a silvery gray. The paints have been mixed, 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol. That mixture is then thinned with my 90% water, 10% Floetrol mixture until I get the proper consistency, which is, this is about a 2, maybe a 2.5, actually. It's a little thicker than usual. On my consistency scale, it is making a mound upon a mound. That shadow is so bad. We'll get that worked out, y'all. But there it is. Before we get started, have you seen the Fluid Art inspiration cards? If you have, you can fast forward about a minute, but if you have not, what we have are 52 cards. There are 42 technique cards. Each technique card has an associated video here on YouTube. This is the picture from that particular video. This box here contains a tip for that particular technique. Here at the bottom, you have the color palette that was used in that painting. And then these 2 boxes can be used together as the basis of a 2-color palette, or you can build off of those 2 colors. And there are 8 bonus color palette cards, and each one has 5 color palettes. Use all of the colors or just some of the colors. Mix and match the color palette bonus cards with the technique cards, and you have more paintings than more combinations you could ever paint in a lifetime. These are available at my website, ginadeluca.net, and also on Amazon.com. And if you get them from Amazon, please do leave a review. They are sticklers for the algorithms over there, and the feedback is a huge part of it. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is put some paint in this cup because I want to make sure I have enough. And I will reserve a bit to go on top in the cup. So the reason that we lay down a base coat is so that our poured paints have something to slide around upon. If you do not lay down a base coat, what happens is the paint that you pour will stick to the canvas, and then the paint that you are tilting will roll over top of that. And some of the coolest stuff happens on the edges of your pour. Sometimes that will be the only place you get cells. And so it's always good to plan for negative space, even if you don't intend on having negative space, that might be the way to rescue your painting. Say only one side does something cool, then you could tilt off the side that's not doing it for you and focus on the side that is doing something cool, and that might mean having some negative space. I always say, go in to your painting. Go in with a plan, and as soon as your paint hits the canvas, let that go. Because the paint is going to do what it's going to do. And if you can't let go of what your original intention was, you will be unhappy with many of your paintings, because it very rarely turns out exactly how you want it to. I think I've maybe had it happen 2 or 3 times in the over 400 paintings that I've done. But some of the coolest stuff that I've done was a complete accident. So that's how the straight pour was discovered, an accident. If you care to watch that video, that would be video number 15. And then 16 was the first time that I got boulder cells. So, happy accidents. Okay, my base coat is down. I'm going to pop these bubbles. I can tell by the way that this base coat went down that it is thicker than I probably wanted. But we're going to roll with it. If we just wind up with a modified looking ring pour, then so be it. The colors should still look good together. Again, going with an intention and adapt. Okay. This shadow is so bad. Okay, I'm going to pour from up high because I want this to sink. And it's sinking. Yay. That's what you want for this particular technique. I'm hoping for some boulder cells. At the very least, some pop-up cells. Okay, and now for the charcoal. And a lot of times in my pours, I will use 3 of the cell makers, but I'm actually only using 2, and I'm using extra of my background color because I want to try to keep some of the background color and not just have it turn into all cells, which can be beautiful, but I want some of this background color in there. And so I'm just trying to get a layer of this in there. You're more likely to get cells if your paints have your background color on top of it, so it has that paint to react to. And in case you're wondering about the reaction, if you are new to this channel, uh-oh, cats are fighting. This is not the Rayleigh Taylor instability in effect here, which is paint densities doing their thing. This is actually a hydrophobic reaction that is occurring between the matte paints, and the entire Americana Decor line are matte paints. Between the matte paints and this background color, which is a glossier paint. In video number 20, I showed how I tested all of my paints to see which ones would be the best for making cells. And the Liquitex brand, using an opaque for your background color, combined with the DecoArt Americana Decor line, almost always generates cells. If it doesn't, you're probably mixed it too thick. Okay, let's make a mess, shall we? And see, adding that bit on top gives the paints, the DecoArt paints, another paint to react to. Getting closer to the canvas as I get towards the end of the cup. This will give me more control over how it comes out. I want my little Fibonacci in there. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and give myself a 10 on that dismount. Got some nice cell action going on here. This is what you want to see. These will become the boulder cells. You'll get some pop-up cells over in this section once this is stretched out. The more you stretch it, the more pop-up cells you get. But this is where the boulder is going to come from. So, after pouring, I know that there is this desire to tilt it right away because you want to know, you want to unwrap that present and see what it has in store for you. But if you are patient, the present will be even better. Because as these cells grow, before you tilt, as they pop up, they're going to get a little bigger. And then when you stretch it, that's when you get those big, juicy boulder cells. I could tilt it right away and get a bunch of pop-up cells after, and they're going to be very uniform in shape and size. And that's not a bad thing. That's just not what I'm going for here. I wanted boulder cells, so I'm getting them. And the more patient I am before I tilt, the more of them I will get. You'll start to see more of them pop up over here. But for some reason, the way it comes out of the cup, the way I'm holding the cup, whatever it is, I get the boulder cells on this side and the pop-up cells on this side, like almost every time. I always find that fascinating. So I'm going to keep popping these bubbles as they arise. They'll keep coming up as you let it sit. You can pop them in your base coat too, because they will also keep coming to the top as it sits. And the more of these bubbles that I pop now, it's bringing up paint from the underlying layers. So say like this bubble right here that I just popped, that was sitting in the layer of the antique bronze. And when it came up, it brought some of that antique bronze with it. So bubbles in your paint aren't necessarily terrible if you're going for cells. If you're going for a ring pour and you don't want those, you definitely want to give your paints time to rest and pour them gently in the cup. You don't want them churning the way that I was doing it. And when you pour it out, you want to be more gentle, closer to the canvas, so that you're not churning air into it, because that will give you bubbles. And the bubbles will give you cells. This is also why I don't torch my straight pours after I tilt, because I don't want the little pinpoint cells popping up in my bigger cells. Popping bubbles again. You'll see as I pop these bubbles, colors come up with it. And generally, if I do torch a straight pour after I've tilted, it's just going to be on this side. If there's not enough happening for me, I'll just torch this side to try to get some more of those pop-up cells to come up, because with the satin enamel, they do tend to grow. They don't just stay little pinpoints. But this background color, the reason I use a background color that is the same color as my base coat. So this is the background color, this is the base coat. The background color goes in the cup, the base coat goes on the canvas. Using the same color background color as base coat gives me two benefits. If I do decide that I want negative space, say I loved what was going on here so much I didn't want to tilt it off, then I could just tilt all of this off and stretch it out and get the paint off of the canvas that I need, because you don't want too much paint sitting on there. So that gives me that option, and it's still cohesive. But also, if I were to use white and there's no white in this painting, and I torch this and I have little white pinpoint cells popping up, it ruins it for me. So that's why, even if it's going to be covered, I'm using the same color in my cup as I use on the background. Okay, I think it's time to give this baby a tilt. Figure out which direction I want to go first. I think I might actually just stretch this out a little first before I tilt off the sides. I like what's going on in the center. I would really like to keep this composition. Always bringing the weight of the paint back to center before changing directions. Very important. An important step in keeping your composition. That's how you just get the cells to become bigger, instead of, if you have cells that wind up losing their shape or just turning into lines, it's probably because you aren't stretching evenly. And this is how you stretch evenly. Okay, I think I'm going to do this corner first. If you see your paint rolling over top of itself, you are tilting too quickly. It's not a race. I liked those cells. Didn't want to tilt them off, but I will get more. Okay, I think I'm going to hit this opposing corner next. I like the softness that is happening in the center, so I really want to accentuate that. You know, I'm happy to get all of these cells on the side, but it's making it feel kind of heavy over there. So I'm probably going to tilt some of that off. Again, bringing the weight of the paint back to center. You'll know where the weight of the paint is by recognizing where it's moving the fastest. Tilting an acrylic pour is kind of like watching a football game. you kind of have to have eyes on everything at once. Got to pay attention to the top side when you're tilting off the bottom. You want to make sure you're not making those cells go wonky. Everything looks easy until you have to do it. Okay. Now, the million-dollar question is, can I stretch it all the way over? And the answer is yes. If you've ever had a painting that is not level, that has had to sit overnight and wasn't level, and you come back and it completely changed, yep, you just need to be patient. It'll get there. Come on, baby. You can do it. This base coat was definitely thicker than what I would prefer to be using. It's fighting the poured paints. Giving it a little bit of a wonkiness. Hopefully I can fix it. Somewhat. I'm just bringing the weight of the paint back to center a bit here. Not perfectly centered. I don't like when my focal points are perfectly centered. unless it's on a square. And even then, I probably still want it off-centered. Okay, I'm gonna let this sit and do what it does. And I will bring you in for a close-up. Back in a few. Okay, here it is. I'm gonna try to show this to you without hitting you with that glare too much. I've got the pop-up cells happening there. Oh, the cats are doing their thing again. Bixby's not having it. Satchmo wants to play and Bixby does not. But I love these softer boulder cells going on there. And then it gets more dramatic on this end. But there it is. And if this goes to show you how important your center is, if you just remember, that was a little tiny area, but that is the part that gets stretched out the most. So that's where you really want to be careful, is with your centers, because that often becomes your focal point. But there it is. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Do like, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you did enjoy, check out the description box below for links to my affiliate links, DecoArt being one of them. You can purchase these paints off of their website, and I will receive a small commission at no additional cost to you. And the same goes for the Arteza and Amazon and Blick links. Oh my goodness. Satchmo. Oh jeez. I'm gonna wrap this up because I need to break up a fight, I think. But that is it for today. Oh yes, also in the description box you'll find links to my website, GinaDeLuca.net, where you can find the my art and music and the fluid art inspiration cards for sale. And also the link to our Facebook group, Go Make Some Art. Join us there. Post your masterpieces, ask your questions, get some inspiration. Okay, that's it for me for today. Gotta go break up a cat fight. Hope you all have a beautiful day. Now go make some art.